So our next lesson, we're going to talk about CAD Cleanup for DWG or DXF files, both being AutoCAD, but typically DWG is what I see. Here is what we're going to look at. So we have that imported DWG that we just imported. What we need to do first is, because it comes in as a group, we need to actually explode this group. So we're going to right click and hit explode. So everything's still selected. But what we really want to do now is go ahead and, try to get faces all created through here. And before we even do that, there are some plugins that we can actually do to help us, because we could do, we could take our pencil tool and just start tracing lines, one at a time. Let's see if that works here. So we'll just take our line tool, do one line. Okay, so there's what it would do. And that created our face, but it'd take forever to actually do that for everything here. So we don't really want to do it that way. We want to try to do everything all at once. And so what we're trying to do here is just do a CAD cleanup situation here. We did download a tool that's going to help us with that, that we're going to talk about in a second, but let's go ahead and look at an extension called Eneroth Face Creator. So if we go to the extension warehouse, here is Eneroth Face Creator. Just Eneroth Face is fine. It's right over here. It's free. And just go ahead and install that. I'm going to upload it to my toolbar here. So Eneroth. Actually, I don't know if this one, so there are some, this is actually good to mention, there are some extensions that aren't going to be toolbar buttons. They're only going to be in your extension drop down here. So here it is right here, Eneroth Face Creator. So just something to know, like if you can't find it in your toolbar here, it's usually going to be under extensions here, or sometimes it can even be under tools. There are some extensions that I've uploaded that are, under the tools right down here at the bottom. So things kind of change a little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to select everything in this DWG. We're going to hit extensions, and then we're going to go to Eneroth Face Creator. And that went ahead and created faces for everything in this drawing. And it did a pretty good job of it. I think there might be a double face here, maybe. It looks like it is. I can kind of see it kind of acting goofy. So let's say I deleted that. So yeah, so what happened was there was a double face going on, and it kind of made things a little quirky. So what you'd have to do at this point is just kind of come back in and start drawing lines to, close things off, which really is, annoying. Don't want to do that. So undoing all of that, I'm going to go ahead and use another tool to try to help clean some of that up first. So what we want to do is just go ahead and select everything again. And that edge tools that we downloaded, remember with that split faces, there is another button that we can use called inspect and close edge gaps. So if you have everything selected, just go ahead and click that button, inspect and close edge gaps. And what that's doing is showing you where all of these little spots here, these little circles, are where, things haven't closed properly. And it needs to be fixed. So briefly, we're going to go through this real quick, but I'm just going to go ahead and click. I think all we need to do is just double click, or just single click actually, these little circles, and that'll remove. And what it's doing is essentially just fixing those lines. The ones that it doesn't allow, so if I click this one and nothing's happening, we're actually going to have to come back in and fix that, by itself. But let's just go ahead and click all of the ones that we can that disappear. And we're just going to go through here, do that, do this, do that, zoom in here, and that's just connecting all the lines. For whatever reason, AutoCAD just doesn't quite always get things lined up properly. Even though you think it is, it's just not. So you do want to just kind of check those things. So I think there are a few of these that we just can't close. If I double check everything, okay. So what I'll do is just get out of this, and okay, so I see that there's a pretty big gap right here, so we'll just use our line tool and close that off. right there. Close it off right here. It actually created a face already because we finally were able to close that. I'm going to go delete that. And let's just go ahead and inspect again because I kind of forgot what we were looking at. So we're going to go ahead and inspect and close edge gaps again under the edge tools. And we've got 2 more to look at. Okay, so you see where the line is broken here. And that's pretty typical, honestly, for a lot of drawings. And there's that one spot and then this spot in the corner here. If we zoom in, yeah, so you can barely see it, but there is a broken line here. And just enough that it's not going to allow you to create a face. So that can be a lot of, your problems when you're drawing. You're like, why can't a face be made? This is really the best way to find it. Inspect and close edge gaps. So what I'm going to do is just get out of this tool, and I know which areas we need to fix. What do I do here? I'll probably just delete this line, and we're going to create a new line and bring this line all the way over, and just bring this and close that off. Hit our eraser tool, erase that. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to delete those faces, and I know we need to fix this line. So if we use our eraser tool using the E keyboard shortcut and then the line tool with the L keyboard shortcut, we're going to find our endpoint, bring a line straight down, make sure that we've crossed it, hit our eraser tool, and then we're going to hit our spacebar tool to grab the pointer and delete that out. So now if we select everything and we inspect and close edge gaps, well, we got one more spot here. So let's take a look. If I click it, it goes away. I think there was just a little bit of hangover here. So now everything is, as good as it can be. Now I'm just going to run that Enteroth face creator again and see what happens. So we clicked it. We're going to hit spacebar. And it looks like, well, we still got a little bit of an issue here. So there is, everything's pretty much separated, but for some reason we've got something going on here where we're not quite getting it. So, you're going to have to try to do it the old-fashioned way and just delete a couple lines and see if that makes it work. I'm going to delete this. I'm going to hit line tool, bring this back in, close that off. Hit our selection tool, and yeah, there's just a gap somewhere that it's just not finding, but mostly everything is pretty good as far as I can tell. Just something over here is not working, and then you just have to kind of go through it individually and just try to figure out which line is not quite getting it lined up. And I bet maybe this could be it. So let's try this. Space. Okay, so that was it. This line right here was the problem. It was connected, but it just wasn't doing it right. So anyway, that's how you would do a face Enteroth face creator, I guess, if you're doing some CAD cleanup with all of this. Reverse faces, and then you're ready to go. There is one more option, and this is a paid plugin. But it's great. So I'm going to kind of delete us all out of there, get us out. So we're going to see all the edge gaps again. Let's just double check that. So yeah, we've got a lot of edge gaps. I'm going to go a little further. Yep. So we got all these edge gaps in here, all these issues. And there is a plugin that I use called, it is Dynascape Tools, and you can do run CAD Cleanup All. And this pretty much creates the faces and it cleans up all of those little issues that we have right off the bat. So if you go ahead and select everything, it's still grouped. We're going to ungroup this by exploding it. Everything's selected. And if you just run extensions, Dynascape Tools, and just go ahead and do run CAD Cleanup All, it tells you everything that it kind of fixed. You hit OK. And we can just go through here and just see everything that it took care of. And let's go ahead and actually just see if there are any issues by going to inspect and close edge gaps. There might be. Yeah, there's a couple. So, go ahead and click those out, fix them. Yeah, this was a pretty big gap, so I think this one's always going to be something that we just need to fix manually. But go ahead and erase that line out. And we'll use our eraser tool, line tool, grab the endpoint, bring this straight down, erase. And it probably is some extra hangover there. Yep, there it is. So we zoom out of this. And if we select everything again, we can see if there are any issues. And there are no circles on here. And I'm just going to go ahead and reverse faces while we're at it. And that's it. That's how you do a CAD cleanup. Again, there's different ways to do it, but this is my favorite way. It is that Dynascape Tools Run CAD Cleanup All. You can do it, and they have some other options here where you can break edges, create faces, play with it if you want. If you don't have access to this, or it like I said, it's through Dynascape Tools and it is a paid plugin. But if you don't, Enter Off Face Creator can work for you just fine. I would just pair it with that Edge Tools that we downloaded before, and then just use that inspect and close edge gaps. And honestly, it's probably good to do that anyway, even if you are using that Dynascape plugin, because big gaps, it's not gonna find it and close those faces for you. And feel free to use that within your model too. If you're having issues with faces not being formed, you can just select an area of your model that you want to look at and use that button and see if there's any problems there. So I really love this tool. It's awesome. I use it all the time, and hopefully you do too.